let me tell you my story. How I became Rahubat. Greetings. I'm Jerice, Queen of One. And on my channel, we'll be discussing ancestral roots, ancestral knowledge, and how to apply it to your everyday life. If you're interested in being interviewed, in this process, we'll be talking about my ancestors, other people's ancestors, and we will be talking about their significance in our role, in their roles in our lives, and their traits, and how to use the ancestors' memory and their energy to be a good thing in our present day lives. If this interests you, tune in, like, share, and subscribe. And also, if you're willing and wanting to, reach out and tell your ancestor story. There's magic in each one. Ancestral knowledge is mostly common with the indigenous and the Aboriginal people, although a lot of those truths have been watered and filtered and lost. A lot do still remain, and we try to preserve those things. Although the ancestors' knowledge is there for all colors of people. If they were your relatives, parents, and they transitioned previous before you, and they're in your DNA, those are your ancestors. There's knowledge stored in each one, no matter the color of their vessel. So, to my people, don't put those that you find and may not know of their story. You may put it to the side, but if you put those people to the side and don't find nothing about them fascinating, no matter what their story was when they was living, and he may not sound like a great person, but there's a skill and a trait or a characteristic or a resemblance of that person that's in you right now as we speak. If you put them to the side, you put a piece of you to the side. We speaking about those, everything and every part of them create you and who you are. So for us to be whole and walk more in our right now reality, the more ancestors we know by name and honor them and welcome them and their guidance and their love in our presence, the more in tune with the universe and the mighty, most high creating source within us. And it's no better way to live than being in the will and alignment with your true purpose and cause. And you can only get there by knowing what is in you. What traits, where did I get this particular smarts from, this particular skills that the rest of them don't have? Tap into your ancestral knowledge. Live in your truth by knowing your ancestors' stories. Marie Scott was my ancestor. My name is Ashley Hickman. And I'm connected to her through my mother. Her mother was a Scott. Birth, a Scott. And on her father's side was half kin through the Scotts, through my grandfather. And here's my story of my ancestor, Marie Scott. So Marie was a Native woman in the Indian Territory before Oklahoma became Oklahoma in 1897. It was home to her ancestors in a town called Scullyville. Today, I believe it's in the LaFleur County, Oklahoma, the southwest of Fort Smith, Arkansas. In Choctaw, Scully means money town. The natives that made that area home was ran out by the government and whites that rushed into that area due to the gold rush days. You know, it was supposed to have been much gold buried there or in the grounds awaiting to be digged, but there was never found after they ran the natives away from that particular area. As time progressed, around the time Oklahoma became Oklahoma in 1897, Marie Scott, aka Myrtle Scott, was born. Previous, the lands in that area was taken from her direct ancestors. As time progressed, Marie Scott was living in Wagner County, Oklahoma, Muskogee Nation. And in the community, there had been a minimum of like 5 murders and deaths of women who were of color natives and also related to Marie. They had been raped and killed, and with no uproars or concerns from the officials. Yet also one particular day, Marie was getting dressed when a few, and I'll say approximately 5 white men, was peeking through her window, saw her getting undressed, and came in to overtake her and attack her and rape her. And while she was trying to fight them off, they did not notice that she had a young brother, approximately 11 years old. And I believe that person, it was never told who the brother was. The identity of the brother never was told, but because she was in my DNA and that I had a ancestral response from her, that it was my grandfather, her half-breed brother, who was at that time was approximately 11 years old. So his big sister, he's fighting these white guys off of her. And in the process, it allowed her to reach for the knife and pierce the man, Lamel Pierce, or as some would say, Samuel Pierce. And when he died, the other ones ran. Long story short, I was told, she told my grandfather, her half-brother, run, 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 and never look back. Don't come back, ever. And he did just that. In the meantime, while he was running, the mob of white men with the police come looking for who killed their people. And when they found Marie, they had to pull her out of a chicken coop that she hid and covered herself with dirt, thinking that she wouldn't be found, but she was. When they pulled her out, there's one picture that showed that I have of Marie that they had in the newspaper saying that they caught the negress woman, the white man slayer, is what they named in the local newspapers, and the worldwide newspapers were speaking on this particular situation. During those days, it didn't matter if a black person was on in a scene that a white person was offended on, you was just as guilty even if you did nothing or even knew the people. But in this case, she knew surely what was going on when she told her brother to run, 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 and never look back. He did what his sister told him to do. And in the process, they pulled her from the jail. They overpowered and put guns in the face of the jailer that released her into the hands of the mob. It was said that a maimed armed white guy from St. Louis, the relatives of the guy that passed away, put the rope around her neck, and they beat and stomped her all the way blocks up the street before hanging her on a telephone pole near a grocery store that the building still stands. The telephone pole they hung her on still stands in Wagner County, Oklahoma to this day. The local newspaper had described the negress woman was hung by the mob. Marie Scott was my ancestor. My name is Ashley Hickman. Y'all, let me tell you my story. How I became the voodoo goddess. Out of the power of 3, Grand Jury's Queen of War, the voodoo goddess.